Greetings, kids and nerds. I'm Ladies Universe and I'm White Nerdy. And did you know that there was a secret ninja hidden facility deep within the mountains of wherever that we were living? If not, well then good news because that there are. I've been kicked out of it because I have failed way too many times and they do not forgive you for making too many mistakes. But anyways, I'm talking about the ninth installment of Power Rangers, one of the most very similar to Dino Thunder. It's kind of a little bit like underrated, although people yet do talk about it and everything. It seems like Ninja Storm might be like a smidge underrated, at least in my opinion it is. But we're going to be reviewing Power Rangers Ninja Storm, the ninth installment here. And if you're wondering why we're jumping over Power Rangers, it's just because. But yeah, earlier this year, last year I covered Dino Thunder, and this year for the 20th anniversary I covered HBD. So it only makes sense that we gotta go squeeze right in between the two of them. Ninja Storm is based off of the Super Sentai Hurricaneja, which was pretty successful and was pretty highly popular. On the back of here, I love how it said that it says combining humor, drama, and martial arts. It's like that's all of the Power Ranger seasons. All of them. But the thing is, Power Rangers Ninja Storm feels like a goofy, old school martial arts movie, and I say that out of love. So, what did Ninja Storm had to offer that the other season did not? Well, tons in my opinion. But we'll talk about that slowly as time goes on. But before we break down the cast and characters, let's of course talk about the plot of Power Rangers Ninja Storm. And duly noted that mostly every single Power Ranger season has me consistent of the sentence, evil force come to Earth, teenagers try to basically stop them. And that's true here. So, the plot's gonna be me repeating myself so many times by this point, but let's still talk about it anyway. So what is the plot of Power Rangers Ninja Storm? Deep in the mystical mountains, there are three ninja warriors that have been chosen to become the Earth's mightiest protectors. Three that would be chosen above the others to become the Power Rangers Ninja Storm. For this Ninja Academy is a secret. It's sacred for everybody. And of course, nobody can really enter it not unless you know the secret password or that you're students of the Ninja Academy. But when an evil force, known only as Lothar, attacks the school and makes it disappear, their sensei had no other choice than to select the three Rangers to become Ninja Rangers. As these three mighty ninja warriors will have to do everything in their power and everything possible to stop the evil forces from taking over the world or to lose to the forces of evil forever. Power Rangers, where everything doesn't seem as weird as you think it is when you write it down on paper. Evil alien ninjas come to Earth, three Asian protectors are chosen, and the rest writes itself. Yeah, we had an evil that comes to Earth, an evil empire that comes to Earth, evil empire that comes to Earth, evil aliens to try to take over. They try to take over the galaxy, try to take over Earth, an evil empire that tried to take over the Earth, an evil empire that rises, they come from the future, tried to take over the Earth, an evil empire that rises, tried to take over the Earth, and then evil orgs that try to come over and take over the Earth. Suddenly, this does not seem as weird as those do. Actually, they're all weird, but we love them all the same. So, that was the plot, and more or less that is actually what happened throughout the majority of this series. So, with a great series has to come great casting characters. And does this have great casting characters? In my opinion, eh. There are some characters that are more likable than others and more that they should focus on, of course. Because there's a few characters that don't get much development, and then there's most characters in this series that get all of the character development. It kind of feels like the writing team just couldn't handle it very well. Like, for example, Power Rangers Dino Thunder that came afterwards, which handled the casting characters a lot more easily. I don't know if this was a mistake on their part. I don't know if this had anything to do with the production history. I have no idea. But One thing that I do know is that despite my criticism and thinking that the casting characters could have been better, which in my opinion they could have been, it's still an enjoyable cast of characters. So why don't we jump on in and see the casting characters and see just who is who in this ninja universe and who are our five main protectors. Yet don't let this confuse you, very similar to Dino Thunder. There are five members of this team, so let's break them down. So let's break down the cast and characters list of Power Rangers Ninja Storm, starting with Shane with the power of air, Shane Clark, the Wind Red Ninja, played by Pua Magasiva. Shane is a pro skateboarder, or at least that's his dream to become a pro skateboarder, and Shane is rather good at the whole skateboarding biz, and that he plans to basically go pro one day. But Shane's more important duty is being the Redwood Ninja, as of course he has the power of air at his disposal that he's able to use to basically neutralize his enemies and also dance upon over them. At first, Shane is arrogant, kinda cocky, his head is all over the place, and not really in the game where it should be, as at first he didn't really seem like he cared about his friends. But Shane always tries his best to prove his worth, and I can think of nobody that you'd want by your side rather than Shane, especially at moments where you definitely would need him at your back. While Shane does have fault in his stars, as fault of everybody should, he still tries to be the most adamant and most powerful upon his team, including being courageous and leaderful. With the power of water, Tori Hansen, aka the Blue Wind Ninja Ranger, played by Sally Martin. Tori loves to surf. She is a competitive surfer, and basically for her, surfing is her life. Basically that she hopes to be the best surfer that there can be and the best competitively. But Tori's first line of work is that she's a dedicated water ninja, and of course, when I say dedicated, I mean that she is very dedicated to her work and thinks nothing more than to become a ranger. Yes, water seems to be her main attribute, especially being a competitive surfer, but of course, upon other that, Tori is one of the most best characters written in the series. She's fearless, careful, creative, and especially that she has to look out for her, well, you might as well say, older brothers or younger and older brother upon this in the series. But of course, if you need a courageous girl at your back, then Tori will be there for you within every step of the way, shining blue and graceful within every step that she takes.
Okay? I think we have something a little more important to worry about. Ninja Storm! Ranger Form! Ha!
With the power of Earth, Dustin Brooks, aka the Yellow Wind Ninja Ranger, played by Glenn McMillan. Dustin eats, drinks, sleeps, does everything in between in the world of extreme motorbiking or just motocross or motocross racing, however they want to put it. Dustin is the man. But Dustin has other responsibilities, being the warrior of Earth, and of course, Earth is his main element, especially just right on the nose since he's also an extreme motocross racer. Dustin is like that little brother that you just never forget. Kind, respectful, adamant, but of course he might not be the brightest bulb in the shed. While Dustin might not be the brightest bulb in the shed, however, he is still a ranger full of charm, and charm he has as he is the big-hearted and most kindest ranger. And no matter what, he will always try his best to do what he needs to for his friends and fellow comrades in arms, as he would let no harm come to them, no matter the cost.
No one makes a fool of me. Ninja Storm! Ranger Form!
With the power of thunder, Hunter Bradley, the Crimson Thunder Ranger, played by Adam Toolman. Hunter and his brother Blake are basically adamant people. At first, is what it seemed, even though that, yes, at first they were evil Power Rangers. As Hunter and his brother Blake were trained by Sensei Ultimo in the ways of the Thunder Ninja, so they know how to fight exactly like a ninja, and they were part of what you might say a hidden clan. Hunter is a big brother, but of course that means that he's also an adamant warrior, always ready to train, always up for the challenge, and ready to do anything to protect his little brother, especially at no matter what cost. Hunter has a lot of heart behind him, especially for not only his brother, but for everybody else that he comes in contact with and that he comes to know, as he is such a sweetheart on the team. as Hunter is always adamant to help others out, no matter the cost and no matter the hurt that comes to him, because that's his duty, especially his duty as a Thunder Power Ranger.
Every day?
Me too. Would it ever go away, missing him?
No, but it will get easier.
Also with the power of Thunder, Blake Bradley, aka the Navy Thunder Ranger, played by Jorge Vargas Jr. Blake is Hunter's little adopted brother. Well, of course, they're not from the same family. They feel that they are, especially since they're kind of in the same relation. And also, it's very obvious throughout the series that Blake has the heart for Tori. And of course, they do kind of butt a relationship, kind of, sort of, maybe in the series. Hunter is Blake is a very heartfelt guy. He tried to do the correct thing, including being very polite, courageous, and also very protective. Which is always, the team will need a faithful protector, and I can think of no one better than Blake, who always tried to do his best and become the most adamant ranger and the most protective one. And finally, with the power of the Green Samurai, Cameron Watanabe, played by Jason Chan. And we find out Cameron is the son of the sensei, so he grew up with a pretty harsh lifestyle, especially learning with a father who mostly knows everything about ninjas doing martial arts. As one thing that we know about Cam at first is that he's very smart. He's kind of a genius protege, and he did everything for the Rangers, invent their Zords, their equipment, everything owned to Cam. But Cam sees himself as something more, but his father hides him from getting hurt for one good reason that I will not spoil in this review, but Cameron sees himself as more. Cameron is not only smart, he's a very loyal person, a loyal friend to the end, and a loyal son to his father, which of course he means well, but sometimes his meaning well can mean trouble for others. As Cam has a past written out for him, as he had to travel there and only to find out that he was meant for so much more than he anticipated, a lot more. Cam is kind, courageous, big-hearted, smart, and all the things that made him for a good ranger, and that's why I have no doubt in my mind that he was the perfect chosen. To become the Green Samurai Ranger, a helpful friend to all and a faithful friend and ranger to the others, as he was definitely needed, especially at a time when the Rangers needed him most.
You picked the wrong Green Ranger to mess with. Activate.
I'll be free to admit this, that Power Rangers Ninja Storm is not one of my all-time favorite seasons. Unfortunately, going back and looking at it, I can see why, as a kid, I really did like it, especially since this was a new season worth watching. But now, as an adult, so many years later, I look back upon it and it's like, it's not quite what I, was expecting. Maybe I looked at it through rose-tinted glasses. Is it still a decent series? Yes. Is it one of my favorites? No. But I do see why people really do like it. It does have some great episodes worth mentioning. Oh, definitely so. And at some point there will be a top 10 done. I'll just have to probably rewatch this at some point and go and see which episode I like more than others. But the thing is that the series does not have a strong beginning, and it really does not have a strong ending. I mean, definitely not so. Some Power Ranger seasons do have great endings, and others kind of like have a cheap ending that's thrown together. Unfortunately, and yes, I know it's my favorite season, but Power Ranger Zeo is guilty of having a not so great uh, final episode. In fact, that wasn't supposed to be the final episode. There was one that was made and then scrapped for whatever reason. So, yeah. Like Wild Force, which came before, had a great ending. Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue had a great ending. Power Ranger Time Force, I'm trying to remember that one off the top of my head, but I think that Time Force also had a great ending. And even Power Ranger Dino Thunder, which came afterwards, had a great ending. What happened to you? Who hurt you? You didn't deserve this. I've heard that Hurricaneger actually is better than Ninja Storm, but I wouldn't necessarily know since I've never checked out. I think it's Ninpu Sentai Hurricaneger, which I've never checked out. I did see the box set when I went out last year for my birthday. So yeah, but it was not. It was in my price range at the time. Very pricey. But yeah, do I recommend Power Rangers Ninja Storm? Sure. For die-hard Power Ranger fans, it is a great season worth checking out, especially if you want to try to get people to check the series out. I would recommend it. It's mostly comedy-wise, which I can see that most people would be like, comedy plus Power Rangers, sometimes the comedy works, sometimes it doesn't. And here, the comedy is miss and hit. There are some jokes that do work, there are some comedy skits that do work, but they focus mostly on comedy, making this like a dramatic comedy, which doesn't necessarily, or even a martial arts comedy, it doesn't work for something like this, especially with the name Power Rangers slapped right on it. They could have called it Ninja Storm and nobody would have blinked an eye, but because the name Power Rangers is slapped on it, kind of makes you worth more. So I would recommend Power Rangers Ninja Storm, but I'm just gonna say this, especially since my opinions, and this is just my opinion. I don't think that it measures up to where it used to when I was a kid. Maybe back then I looked at it through tinted glasses, and now I kind of look back at it and it's like, yeah, it's good, but it could have been better. So for me, Power Rangers Ninja Storm is good, but could have been better. But it still did get my recommendation of the Power Rangers season that everyone should watch. An apology to anyone that favorite season is Power Rangers Ninja Storm. I apologize, but it's just my opinion. So I still do recommend that you check out Power Rangers Ninja Storm when you can. It's not the best season, in my opinion, but it still is a great worth watching season. So if you like comedies, especially martial arts comedies, then this one will be right up your alley. So give Power Rangers Ninja Storm a watch, and you might have a ninja of a good time. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought about Power Rangers Ninja Storm in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it your favorite season? Was it not your favorite season? Because we all have mixed opinions about what is the worst and what is not the worst season. Ninja Storm is not the worst season, by far not. But it's not one of the best seasons either. I would kind of put it in between, like, you know how you have those graphs of, like, what's similar, what's different, and then, you know, right in the middle, it's, like, basically what's similar. Yeah, this would be kind of like smack dab in it. It's not the best, but it's not exactly the worst either, as I have seen worse than Power Rangers Ninja Storm. So thank you guys so much for watching this Power Ranger review. I promise that more will come in the future. And if you have a favorite season that you'd like to see me check out, please let me know in the comments down below. And for some people that are going to ask for some of the seasons that I hate, I will get to those eventually. I'm not willing to go through that pain just yet. So for seasons like Operation Overdrive, Turbo, and maybe Megaforce and Super Megaforce, I'm not willing to go through that pain just yet. I'm not willing to rip off that Band-Aid. Not yet, especially not Turbo. Not yet. Because there is a whole rant of Turbo that I could do right here. But I'm not going to. I'm going to save that for Turbo. So eventually, we will shift into Turbo. Eventually. And what's worse is that Turbo had 2 volumes. Couldn't just have 1? Anyways, yes, already I'm getting upset over Power Rangers Turbo, but that doesn't mean that it's coming up next. So we'll shift into Turbo when I'm ready. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody's Universe. I want Nerdy keep you getting on. For more Power Ranger reviews, let me know in the comments down below what season you'd like to see me review, and maybe I'll take your recommendation and make it the next Power Ranger review. Maybe next month, maybe August, maybe before school starts, around that time period. We'll see how it goes. Or even, there's always next year. So, also, if you guys want to, hit that bell icon down below so you can be notified every single time we upload, and make sure to do all the YouTube things of liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, and also again hitting that bell icon. And also, if you want to join me and see what I'm doing behind the scenes or see what I'm working on, then you can do so by clicking the link to my Twitter in the description down below. I am not calling it X. We have been through this. So thank you guys so much for watching this Power Rangers Ninja Storm review. I've been Lazy Universe. I've been Nerdy. Keep it on. And until next time, guys, and as always, take care.